it's Carolina. I'm Caroline Timmerberg, and we're in Mönchengladbach today at the Beach Boys concert. They are on tour with their 50th anniversary reunion tour called Celebration. And speaking of celebration, I think we should celebrate the fact that I'm sitting next to a very lovely and extremely talented human named Probyn Gregory.
Hey.
Hi, Probyn! And I'm celebrating the fact that it's taken us about a year or more to get to the spot here. So, Probyn, you are an amazing person. And
well, thank you.
Okay. And we'll take a break and be right back. No. Probyn is known at, Probyn, first of all, has been playing with the Brian Wilson Band for how long?
13 years.
Oh my God, okay. And then before that you were playing with the Wonderments, right? For how long?
Yes, since 93.
Oh, okay.
So that was about 5 or 6 years of that, and then the Wonderments are actually part of the Brian Wilson Band. We got brought on board that. Okay. So even though we hardly ever play outside the Brian Band, we still exist in theory. The band still exists outside of the Brian Wilson Band.
Okay, and so you kind of just float in and out whenever you can, or when you feel the need.
Well, we actually make money with the Brian Wilson Band, and our own band. We put out records, and we never really made a dime. I mean, we might have had the theme song for the Austin Powers movie, but I saw very little money from that because that was it was the first one, so there wasn't the industry around that there is now.
Yeah. Okay, so then you've been playing for Brian Wilson for years. Now, how did it happen that you happen to be on this tour currently, which is, it's a punishing tour, I think, by any standard, isn't it? It's a grueling tour.
Yeah, I've averaged about 2 days at home a month, which is tough because I have an 11-month-old son who I'd like to see more of. And I thank God for Skype, but there's that. So yeah, there's a lot of dates, and sometimes we do 3 shows in a row, 3 days in a row. Once or twice on this tour we've done 2 shows in a day, which has been kind of tough. But then again, we don't all sing all the time. In the Brian Wilson Band, we generally all sing all the time. In this Beach Boys Band, there's so many people in the band, in addition to which the 5 principal people, they only have 1 person generally doubling them vocally. So the rest of us get to slack off or just play our instrument for a change.
Okay. No, so how did the tour come together for you? How did it happen that you're on board?
What happened was that of the 5 guys, people wanted to have various people from their own bands brought on board, and the people that ended up with the people mostly are Mike Love from the regular touring Beach Boys, and then Brian Wilson brought almost all of our band over. I'm not quite sure how that got done, but most of us in the Brian Wilson Band made it into this band. That was just the equations of how the power structure worked it out.
Well, you've played over 50 cities in North America, including Canada, and then I think your European leg of the tour has about 11 different countries, which, for someone your age is a little, it's stressful, but for some senior members of the band, how do they cope with the schedule?
I don't know. I mean, people like Mike and Bruce, but I mean, Mike is older than anyone in the band, and they do more dates than we're doing now in the course of a year, so they're sort of used to it.
Yeah.
Brian's not that used to it, and he's holding up. He has a bad back, and he's a little tired, but you'll see at the show, he generally manages to pull it out, and he's doing all right. I mean, he's being a champion about it, that for a guy that doesn't like to do more than the old man tours of about, as they call them, of 3 weeks or so.
Well, did the tour start with the Grammys? Was that the first time you played? Or
was it? Yes, I think it was. It's not the first time we recorded, but that was the first time that we played live. Yeah, that's how the public got to know that this was happening for real, was at the Grammys.
So, well, when you look back to, like, at that time frame and then compared to now, how have the dynamics changed between band members and just kind of playing as a group? Do you notice any significant differences at all, or is it
not
exactly
really significant? It's not exactly the same, but we're all a lot more casual and friendly with each other. I had feared that there would be some egos or some weirdnesses, and there really haven't been, which is quite gratifying to know that the team said they'd pull it together, and they did.
It's amazing. It's really amazing. So now you're in Germany, and your lovely wife is also from Germany. How does it feel for you to be here?
Schrecklich.
It's schrecklich.
No, it feels great.
Okay, we have to cut. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. No Schrecklich. No.
Good day to you, sir.
It feels great.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, we were driving along on the road, and I kept on seeing signs from Mönchengladbach, where my brother-in-law, who's here, lives.
Yeah.
And then I was looking for maybe to see the turnoff for Huckelhoven, which is the little town they're from, but I didn't see it on the main. I can't remember what number road we were on.
Yeah. Well, now tell me about the audiences. Do you notice any kind of like connecting thread from, country to country or place to place? Is there any similarity, like the people are there because of, I don't know, nostalgic from the Beach Boys, or I don't know, is there any kind of thing where you get reminded of one audience by the one previously? You know what I mean?
I see what you say. I actually see more differentiation between the audiences in a place like England, where if you go to London, it's not that they aren't fans and don't show it, but if you go up north, say to Glasgow or Edinburgh or something, they're practically having a hooligan. There's practically a scene in the audience. There's almost like fights break out. They're so and we saw a little bit of that in Spain. People up on their feet and not necessarily throwing beer bottles, but in a good way.
Yeah.
But for instance, compared to a place like Japan, where there's a market reserve in the which is okay, because what it is like we'll play a song that's big, like Good Vibrations, and there'll be this smattering of applause. You'll think, oh my God, we just bombed. And then it's like a lot of things in Japan that you wait till the end of the performance, and they've been polite. A lot of them have been saving it up. Like I saw a baseball game where they hit a home run, nothing, polite applause. In the States, they would have gone crazy over a home run. But at the end of the baseball game in Japan, at the end of our shows, then there's this tumultuous applause. And
So they're the most staid audiences, the Japanese. Who else is more reserved?
I'm wondering if maybe the Scandinavian, like Oslo, maybe where it gets cold, Inuit country. I'm not sure.
Inuit country.
Anything near the Arctic Circle.
Well, now do you notice any? Do you notice people in the audience getting emotional? Because a few of the songs are very, very emotional.
Mm-hmm.
They bring up, so many memories. Do you notice that a lot? People kind of emoting during the show, and do you care?
Yeah, I mean, some of the, even though I've been playing this music now professionally for over 13 years, and I play these songs hundreds, if not thousands of times, still some of them still resonate, especially if I can see the audience reacting. God Only Knows is one that almost always gets a lot of, if not applause, then just sort of this, you can feel the heartfelt thing coming from the audience. Or when we were doing Pet Sounds, Don't Talk, Put Your Head on My Shoulder is another one. But people have different reactions to different songs. Wouldn't Be Nice is always a crowd pleaser. People are dancing and jumping, but also they're into the vibe of that sort of yearning that's going on in that song for something that you don't have, but think if you were a little older you might.
That's right. So what do you think you'll be able to take away from this whole tour? Well, once it's over, once you play, I think the last date is Wembley Stadium, right?
Yes, I think so. Later in September, right?
Yeah. So when it's all done, what do you think it will have meant to you? What do you think you'll?
Jeez.
I know. Well, hurry.
Well, it's a once in a lifetime thing. I mean, this we will never probably see the 5 living Beach Boys agreeing on a schedule of this magnitude. I mean, we're gone for the large majority of 5 months. And most of us, I've never been on a tour any longer than 2 months prior to this. So I think I'm going to look back on it with fondness and just satisfaction and happiness that I was chosen to be part of that group.
It's just amazing. Now, what kind of things are you working on when you get back to LA? What do you have?
I don't really have that much lined up, partly because I've been so long out here on the road that I'm going to be being a dad and helping my wife cope, because she's been a single mom this whole time. She had her mother out for a while, and some of my family came out, but so I don't have any big plans. I might play in some Beach Boy tribute bands. I might do some recordings. We'll see.
Okay. Well, your wife is quite lovely, and I am supposed to tell you from your wife, a gemütlich Geburtstag.
Have a cozy birthday.
Cozy birthday.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me now. How many? I read that you play it's over 50, right? You played over 50 instruments and instrument-like objects.
Right. I mean, the question is, how many have I made money with? Bruce asked me that the other day. He said, "What are you pro on? What have you made money with?" And I said, 41 instruments. And I don't even know. I wrote them out once. I had them on this. Someone was interviewed, and it's all enumerated. But one time I got paid for blowing a blade of grass, because I can actually do melodies on a blade of grass.
Oh, cool.
But you had to have a store of them laid by, picked outside the studio in case the first one broke or it shredded. When I do a high, break.
And I read that you play the saw too, right?
Yes, I'm not that good at the saw, but the funny thing about the saw is that you have to have a cello bow, but with bass rosin or ballet shoe rosin that they use. Which is very sticky, because that's the only way to grab the blade. Grabbing a string, a regular violin string, takes a lot less of the stickiness of the rosin, whereas this metal saw blade, you really have to have something to grab it. So this extra strong, or actually sticky rosin is the ticket.
That's so cool. Okay, is there anything that you want to promote while we have the camera rolling?
Well, I played on an album. A person did an old song of mine. It's the Nick Vernier Band is the name of it, even though that's not the guy's name. But they're from Holland, and they put out an album called Sessions. It was like a duet of this person, Eric Vandenbrink, would do all the track, and then have the person that wrote the song sing the lead vocal. So he did that with Jerry Beckley of America, did one. I did one. Some other people whose names I don't really know were on this record. And it's called Sessions, the Nick Vernier Band, and one of my songs called I Send Up My Prayer is on there. It's on iTunes, downloadable. I like it. It's a good song.
You know, by the way, what we'll do when we edit, we'll anything that we mention that there's a link to, we'll flash it underneath. Do you have any special links that you want us to advertise, like your email address?
I don't really have a website, which is weird. I mean, I had a MySpace, but now that's sort of moribund, and my Facebook doesn't really have any links to music stuff. I got to get something going about that. I will say that I've played as a session guy on my wife's records, the Riviera Band, that's from near here. They're from Mönchengladbach, and they're local homegrown. They used to be big in Japan. Now they're not selling as many units, but they still put out an album in a couple of years.
What are the chances that you will do something with them, with Roland and Julia? Your lovely wife?
It'll be high, except that Julia now is living in the States and Roland is here, and so it's only when Roland comes to the States every couple of years we do a show or two in LA, and there probably won't be another tour, but they'll probably continue to make records and send, they can send the files to each other over the line and just add keyboards or vocals or whatever, and then send them back, and the other person will add their bit, and back and forth until the whole thing's done. It's the modern way, don't you know?
It certainly is.
Oh yes.
Well, so by what percentage is your touring schedule made easier thanks to Skype and being away from your loved ones?
Tons. I owe Skype a big debt. In fact, I probably shouldn't admit this on the camera, but I don't have 1 cent on my Skype account. And I'm almost doing computer to computer. It's totally free. I don't know how they managed to keep it up, but I Skype a couple times a day to home, and I get to see my wife and my son doing their thing.
How old is Finn now?
11 months.
I'm not supposed to say his name on camera.
No, you can say that.
Sea Shepherd.
Sea Shepherd, Sea Shepherd. If you're listening great stalker of the interwebs.
Where's Paul Watson? I was thinking what we can do when we edit, we'll just have a ticker of all the instruments that you played going underneath. Let's do that.
Right, euphonium, ukulele, banjo, the piccolo trumpet, blah, blah, blah.
All right. Probyn, you're one of my closest friends now.
That's sad.
Okay, Probyn, thank you so much for sitting with us. You're the best. I love you. I love you, man.
I love you, man, too.
What's up with the Beach Boys? What's up with
Ow! What's up with the Beach Boys?